I'm here in New Zealand to study the pine invasion, lodgepole pine, that was introduced from North America here to New Zealand 80 years ago. It escaped those plantations where it was planted and is now growing over hillsides like we see around here. Lodgepole pine is kind of a fire-adapted species, so if you have a fire go through a lodgepole stand, the first thing that comes back is lodgepole. And the native species here are not well adapted to fire. There's not a long history of fires or high fire frequency. So the native plants don't do well under high fire frequency. We're worried that the lodgepole pine will encourage a higher fire frequency. Therefore, basically it perpetuates itself. It continues to grow and take over the landscape and really remove a lot of the native species here.
The main connection between our work and climate change is the prediction that fires are going to increase in a lot of parts of the world with climate change. With drier temperatures, the fuels will dry out more, it'll be hotter, there will be more days of fire weather. Potentially, we could have more fires, and that could drive these lodgepole pine invasions.
Lodgepole pine as an invasive species was definitely interesting to me because in Montana it's kind of hard to grow. We're trying to grow more of it, and it really intrigued me that lodgepole pine was actually invading. It seems like there isn't a lot of care in introducing species to the native lands, and then now we have this problem here, and I think it's very important to do studies and acknowledge it and try to correct it.
Well, you might find it interesting as to why someone would go around the world looking at where lodgepole pine has been introduced and invading, etc. And the fact is, it relates to the potential for losing species diversity. That's something worth managing against. I don't want to see those species there. When we homogenize the earth with certain species, weedy species, lodgepole pine being one of them, that can be a real threat to this diversity that's so unique in some of these regions.